Hey everyone, just waiting for the live to start up and people to join us. Sorry for the delay, just had some tech issues, but we're on now and we appreciate you joining us.
Okay, great. Welcome. So we'll just wait a little bit to get everyone to give a chance for folks to join us. We are live again. As Xavier mentioned, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but thank you for writing it out with us. Tonight is going to be a very special presentation on immigration reform 2021, presented by Cabrini Justice for Immigrant program. So to present Cabrini a little bit better, I'm going to introduce one of
Hey,
our...
Zelena, 1 second. I think your audio isn't coming through. Oscar, can you please mute? I think there's getting some sound. Okay, try speaking now, Zelena.
Can you hear me?
It's a little low.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me now?
a little better. I don't know if you could bring the mic closer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, better?
yeah, better.
So I wanted to present one of our shining leaders at Justice for Immigrants, Miss Daisy Munoz Castro. She's going to talk to us a little bit about Cabrini.
Hi everyone, my name is Daisy. Thank you for coming today. Before we begin, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the program services and resources that Cabrini offers. Cabrini offers legal immigrant services, including Daca renewals of family petitions and adjustments of status. And we also have a food pantry that runs every week to help those in need. And we also have a program called Justice for Immigrants, which gives people a chance to join committees in order to help many issues that immigrants deal with. And I'm part of the unemployment committee, and we kind of just discuss some of the new information that is going on, and we work to keep people up to date and aware of these issues.
Thank you so much, Daisy. We also have our attorney, Oscar Montes, who will be joining us tonight to give us backup during this presentation. Oscar, you want to introduce yourself to the folks joining us tonight?
Okay, hello, I'm Oscar. I'm the staff attorney at Cabrini. That's fine today. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Oscar. Xavier is also joining us, and Ella is here too. My name is Selene Suchilt. I'm the community organizer at Cabrini, and I'm very excited to show you guys a rundown and overview about immigration reform this year. If you have any questions as we go forward with the presentation, just drop them in the comment section. Xavier will be moderating and we'll be happy to answer them. If you have legal questions, we're so lucky that we have our attorney Oscar here, and we'll be sure to answer those at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen now and get going. Okay. All right, so this is an overview of immigration reform for 2021. A little bit of an overview. So on January 20th, the same day that President Joe Biden was inaugurated, he revealed his proposal for the Citizenship Act of 2021 that would allow a path to citizenship for the estimated 11 million undocumented people currently living in the USA. It was one of the most generous and broad proposals we've seen in decades. He also signed a series of executive orders that addressed immigration issues more immediately. But again, executive orders are not permanent, they are temporary, and legislation is needed to make them permanent. For the Citizenship Act bill of 2021 to become law, it must go through both houses of Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Again, we want to share a bit of warning against any notaries, notarios, lawyers, organizations, or individuals that will tell you that you can adjust your status through the Citizenship Act of 21 now. It is not a law. It is simply just a bill, a proposal. These individuals may be committing fraud. So a little bit about the Citizenship Act of 2021. These are the ways that the bill, were it to pass, would change immigration laws. So one thing that is very telling of the law is that it would change the word alien in the U.S. law with the word non-citizen. So as it currently stands, the language in immigration laws refer to the applicants as aliens, which makes them sound like they're not human. So one of the things that would be modified is that alien would be replaced with non-citizen, and it would humanize the tone of immigration law. It would also allow undocumented individuals to apply for temporary legal status with the ability to apply for green cards after 5 years. And it allows for the pathway to citizenship to be expedited for dreamers, TPS holders, and immigrant farm workers who meet specific requirements. And they would be eligible immediately if it were to pass for green cards under the new legislation. And after 3 years, they could pass to citizenship status if they demonstrate certain requisites. So again, that applies for Daca holders, asylees, people who have temporary working permits, or farm workers, or frontline workers would be able to go on an expedited pathway. But again, this is for the broadest proposal to incorporate the over 11 million undocumented people already residing in the U.S. So one of the date for requisite to qualify is to have been in the U.S. before January 1st of this year, 2021. Other things that it would change, it prioritizes keeping families together. So even though currently the immigration, the family-based immigration system is the most widely used way to not naturalize, it would reform some of these things. So it would eliminate the 3 and 10-year bars and allow family members who are being to wait for their green cards in the US, so they wouldn't have to go abroad and wait for these bars. It also eliminates LGBTQ plus discrimination by explicitly recognizing all partnerships in matters of immigration. It includes the No Ban Act to limit presidential authority and prohibits discrimination against religion. This is specifically targeted former President Trump's Muslim ban, which we'll talk about in a little bit in the next portion of this presentation. It creates and expands those protections for those going through deportating proceedings by providing orientation programs and counsel for children, vulnerable individuals, and others, as well as hiring more judges. So currently, folks that are going through deportation proceedings or in detention don't have the same rights as those that are going through the legal systems or are incarcerated. So this would amplify even more the human rights of those that are in detention. So again, when we talk about executive orders, these are orders that come from the executive branch directly from the president, and they can be reversed. So that's what downside of them, but they provide immediate relief in lieu of action from Congress. So here are a couple of President Biden's executive orders on immigration. So DACA. DACA was an executive order from former President Obama during his term, which former President Trump tried to override. So Biden signed up a memorandum to preserve and strengthen the program and protecting immigrant youth, and also directed Congress to provide permanent protection. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about Daca a little bit later. In the census, Trump again passed an executive order that would exclude undocumented immigrants from being counted in the census. Biden is reversing that. On the Muslim ban, President Biden has ended Trump's ban on travel by people from 7 Muslim majority nations. On border security, he halted the construction of the border wall to allow a review and investigation of the legality of the funding of the methods used. And on enforcement, he revoked Trump's executive order that directed harsh and extreme immigration enforcement. On deportations, he issued a pause for 100 days for folks to not be deported. However, in Texas, there a federal judge granted a 14-day temporary restraining order. So some states are fighting the memorandum on a state level. And on deferred enforced departure, as it relates to asylees, he extended the deferred enforced departure designation for Liberians until June 30th, 2020. And on the downside, he did pause the Trump's executive order for DED for Venezuelans. So it's not currently available for Venezuelans, but it is going through the legislative process. So it's very important to keep in mind that that Biden's proposal, the Citizenship Act of 2021, is just a bill that's going to be introduced by other senators and in the House of Representatives, but it has to go through a process to become a law. So this is not a law, it's just simply a proposal. And the same goes for executive orders. They're not permanent. They have to go through the legislative process in order to become permanent. So we talked a little bit earlier about Daca, and this is a really good example of an executive order that needs to go further. So hundreds of thousands of folks were able to benefit through Daca, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals executive order that passed under Obama's administration. However, the working permit has to be renewed each year. It does not lead to a green card or citizenship. It doesn't allow for additional protections. But members of Congress have proposed the DREAM Act, which would expand and protect Daca through legislation. So last week, Senators Dick Durbin of Illinois and Lindsey Graham of Carolina, it's a bipartisan effort, introduced the DREAM Act once again last Thursday. So advocates and legislators want to approach this in a piecemeal way, so it might not as opposed to a comprehensive package. So it may be possible for just portions of the Citizenship Act to pass. For example, the DREAM Act, which would only protect a certain amount of number as opposed to the broader 11 million, and also the farm workers bill and TPS holders. That might be an expedited piecemeal effort. The big haul is going to be, the 11 million as a whole. So how does the bill become a law? So you see here, this kind of looks like a Monopoly board, and it kind of is there. So you see kind of at the top, you have we got the direct proposal from the executive order, so we don't have to worry about the video, but it goes and it's proposed in either through the House or the Senate. So it's just two different parts of the legislative branch of government. So once it goes through a committee process where the senators or representatives discuss whether they're going to amend it, where they're going to take parts or put things in. And then they will reconciliate the bill. And then once they debate it, and then they will be voted on in full committee. Then it goes all the way to the Senate or the House, and then they vote on it. So it has to pass both houses. So the bill that is in the House and the bill is in the Senate, it has to kind of like reconciliate so that it becomes just one bill. And then once it becomes one bill from two, it goes back to the president, and he has the power to veto it or not. Again, we don't have to worry about this because the proposal came directly from Biden. So a little bit of how it can pass. So the Democrats are very invested in immigration reform, and they do have a slim majority in the House. Although historically, the last time there was a comprehensive immigration reform, it was passed under a Republican administration. Former President Reagan passed the amnesty, what is referred to as amnesty bill, in the 80s. But again, it didn't account for future waves of migration. So the Democrats now are the ones that are spearheading the immigration reform effort, although it's absolutely crucial that we have bipartisan support. So this year in 2020, 2021, Democrats have a slim majority in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. So there's 221 Democrats in the House, 211 Republicans, 50 Democrats in the Senate, and 50 Republicans. So that's 50-50. But the vice president breaks a tie in the Senate, and Vice President Harris, who you can see on the top picture there, she can break the tie. But in order for it to not be susceptible to filibuster, so for the bill to be blocked by ongoing talks, the Senate must secure at least 60 votes. So that means at least 9 to 10 Republican votes. So it just goes straight into the vote and not be filibustered. So in the bottom picture here, you have the Senate Majority Leader Schumer, who's the senator from New York. So this is good news for New York. And House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi. So what is our role in this process? It might seem that it's entirely up to the politicians, but let's not forget that it was activism, organizing, relentless organizing, years and years of work that brought us to this point, that has made this administration make immigration reform such a high priority, and for it to use a humane language and the least severe language that we've seen of past immigration reforms proposals. So as constituents, we have the power of the legislative process. And so the people that are able to vote can push the folks that are in power, that are in office, to further this bill and make it a top priority. Now, we live in New York, so we're a Democratic state, but there's ways that we can support other states by making calls to other legislators and make this a priority for the country. We also have to be keep in mind of trying to win public favor, so that it involves making sure that we organize, so, find your people, go to organizing meetings and be part of this process of history, empower yourself and your community, know your rights, know what's going on, and be part of this activism. And by sharing your story through social media or talking to press conference, you visualize the need for immigration reform, and you reach a broader audience in a country that's very much divided. There's nothing like storytelling to really get to the heart of things. And talking directly to Congress members and their staff through legislative meetings, petitions, calling their offices, that's also very important, because this puts the pressure on them to make it a top priority and use their political capital to make sure that it goes through. And through direct action, rallies, protests, and street action, as well as lobbying in DC and Albany, we make the power of the people visible, and they have no choice but to take action. And together we're better. So building coalitions to show broad support from different populations and industry. Solidarity is power. So there's different other struggles, and it is important for us to show solidarity and to create solidarity for our cause as well. So if you have any other ideas on how to get involved, you can share your ideas in the comments. And here are some of the campaigns for immigrant rights that Cabrini is involved with. So we have the Justice for Immigrants program here at Cabrini, where we meet and discuss different issues. We create our own committees, and we're involved in different types of coalitions, and we just help each other out as we go through this process. Families Together through Fair Immigration Reform Movement, which is a national coalition for immigration reform that the New York Immigration Coalition is part of. And the New York HERO Act in New York State is very important to include protections for all workers during COVID, to make sure that these COVID safe protections involve everyone, and we get help to those that need it. And there's also local efforts to make healthcare accessible to everyone, regardless of their immigration status. And also Here to Stay through United We Dream, which is a youth organization. So before we end, again, I want to just circle back, and I cannot stress enough the importance of staying away from fraudulent service providers or individuals who are going to take advantage of this news. Again, the Citizenship Act of 2021 is not a law, and it does not provide any immigration benefits at this time. But it is important to get involved with organizations like Justice for Immigrants here at Cabrini to participate in these campaigns. While we push elected officials to pass the legislation, we provide our members tools to organize in their communities and to empower themselves while we go through this ongoing struggle for human rights. If you think that you or someone you know have been the victim of immigration fraud, please call the New York State District Attorney at 1-800-771-7755, or you can contact us through private message, and we will help you go through that process. We do have, again, our staff attorney, Oscar, who is here with us today, and he can answer legal questions, but please do not share any identifying information that may make you vulnerable to the public. So be as vague as you can. We do provide consultation, so you can let us know in the future. So now we're gonna check into our questions that we have in the comments, or any comments that you have there will be greatly appreciated. And you can contact me, the community organizer here at Cabrini. I'm leaving my email and phone number at the office where you can contact me if you want to get involved with us, if you need additional information. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Xavier, do we have any comments or questions?
Thanks, Zelene. Right now, I'm not seeing any outright questions. Thanks, everyone, for your support and your approval in the comments. Yeah, still gonna wait on some comments. I will also mention that, as Zelene mentioned, I'm going to leave Cabrini's phone number in the comments. If you need services with regards to like change of status, you'll meet somebody like Oscar and our other wonderful case manager, Tiburcio. And we're here to support those needs. Right now, I'm still not seeing any other questions at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Xavier. Oscar, is there, as a lawyer, what does the Citizenship Act of 2021 mean for our clients and for our communities in need?
Well, I mean, it would mean a lot, right? In the sense that like it does a lot of things that would help people, like fix their status, like for people who are fully undocumented. A lot of people are in this country, they're undocumented, and they don't have a way like to fix their status other than something terrible happening to them, like being the victim of a crime or domestic violence. So it shouldn't be that, the only way that you can get a green card is through marrying a US citizen or through having a child and waiting 21 years. Like there has to be more ways for people to access relief and to contribute and to chase whatever their version of the American dream is. So hopefully this will happen, because there's a lot of obstacles right now that this legislation would undo.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Do you have any updates on the public charge rule, and if Mallorca's the new DHS director has offered any new insider updates regarding this particular rule?
No, public charge was like there's an executive order from last week for them to like review public charge, I think by like April 1st or something like that. So I would expect the public charge will be rolled back, but as of right now, it's still in effect, and we're proceeding with all of our applications as if it was going to remain in effect, but I don't anticipate that it will. It's just, since this wasn't created by executive order, it was created through the like rulemaking process. It has to be undone like through a more formal way than just an executive order. So it's something that we're kind of stuck with right now, but my hope is that that'll change in the coming months.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Xavier, I know maybe we don't have any questions, but can you read aloud some of the comments or from the participants of today's presentation?
Yes. So we've gotten some support from Allison Lee, a beloved community member and leader with Justice for Immigrants. She shared a heart and a thumbs up. We have a couple thumbs up from the NYC Paintball Group. I appreciate their support. We also have a few shares. Thanks for Rigoberto Medel and Erendira as well, who's another beloved community member. Nitro Cars Flushing, shout out to you guys. And these are our supporters for right now. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for always being willing to learn more with us and for joining in the fight.
Awesome.
I did
Thank you,
see
Xavier.
one question may not have popped up for you yet, Xavier, about whether we're helping people with DACA applications.
I'm seeing that right now. So NYC Paintball Group says, what are the new requirements for a DACA holder to be eligible for permanent residency?
There's nothing like official on that yet. Like I would assume, yeah. I mean the fact sheet that came out didn't even specify like DACA recipients. It just said dreamers, right? So I don't know what the specifics of it would be. I don't know if it's like you had to have DACA for a specific amount of time. Could it be new applicants who just got DACA for the first time and then can automatically adjust status? Like it's really not clear. It's too early to tell, right?
Got it.
On the DACA front, the DREAM Act was introduced last Thursday on the Senate with bipartisan support, and we all around everyone is quite positive that we'll have some wins this year. So stay positive, but keep in mind nothing has passed yet, and stick with us and get involved with us to stay on top of all the updates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another question, which is probably related on the DACA front. So Chiquita Rodriguez asks, are you guys helping with DACA? I'm assuming that has to do with DACA applications.
Yes, we're doing DACA renewals and we're doing first-time DACA applications. But if it's a client that we haven't helped before, you do have to do like a consultation first, where we'll like go over the requirements to make sure that you qualify, so that you're not like filing an application that's going to be denied. But we are doing those cases right now.
Yeah, thank you, Oscar. I left a comment. It should show up here around just if you need any support with getting an appointment, please call our number that I will have posted here. We are available for appointments in February still, is that right? Or are we all booked?
We probably, I don't know. I saw, I can pull up the no, I don't have the calendar right now. But I saw some appointments scheduled pretty far out, so maybe not.
Okay, so an appointment in the near future, we hope. Looks like those are all the questions for right now. Ella, you can always jump in to correct me otherwise, but yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Daisy, do you want to add any last words? I know that that you and your family have been involved in this struggle for immigration reform. How would immigration reform change your life? But you're a citizen, right? But it still affects us all.
Yeah, I think that it would really benefit my family and I just to kind of get the worry of, separation of families. Just to have that over our heads kind of is very frightening. And I think this would really impact the community and just like our nation as a whole and just help people like us. Yeah, so I think it would be like a positive and like a really great change.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, I think there's a broad support for immigration reform from business members, from businesses to U.S. citizens, to obviously the 11 million brave folks that have been unfortunately not been recognized by the government, but we remain hopeful, and there's a lot of people that are fighting for this. So thank you so much for joining us tonight on our presentation about immigration reform in 2021, presented by the Justice for Immigrants program at Cabrini Immigrant Service of New York City. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our information is in the comments. And if you're seeing this after the live, you feel free to get in touch with us. So we're going to log off, and then we're going to come back at 7 p.m. to do a Spanish version of this presentation. So let people know to come and join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.